And the rules of hell are fear, essentially.
If you want to leave hell, stop following its rules.
Hi, it's Lauren. Welcome to another lyric analysis. Today's song is Want to Leave Hell, which is the 14th song overall and the 4th one in the Pink section. This song is basically about, like, if you want to leave hell, and I'm talking about more like hell on earth, the hells we create. You don't follow the rules of hell. And the rules of hell are fear, essentially. Fear and hatred. Hatred is usually driven by fear. And then heaven is driven by love. So we have this choice. Do we want to be driven by fear or love? And if you are driven by fear primarily, you will create a hell for yourself. And if you are driven by love primarily, you will create a heaven for yourself. Now, fear is a necessary part of life, but it has to be in balance. It shouldn't be your main motivation for doing every single thing in your life, because then your life is just about avoiding fear and not about going towards love. So it says, first, I've lived a life based on hate. You can't hate yourself into a good place. So I'm not really talking about, for me, like hating other people as much, but more hating myself. And like I'm hating myself so much that I have this really strong motivation to change. When people go for these self-improvement things, you know, they want to feel better. But you can't hate yourself into a good place. Like you can't constantly hate yourself and then once you fix this thing, you'll feel better, because you're driven by this emotion of self-hatred and self-criticism. And when you reach the goal, the cycle will continue so that you'll just criticize another thing about yourself, because your brain is literally wired into a state of self-hatred. So next line. I've lived a life based on fear, feeling I'm not enough hasn't made my career. So the fear of being a failure. And I thought that would make me successful because I would be so motivated by fear that I would make it to the top, and I did not. So living in constant fear has not made me more successful. In fact, it's actually kept me from reaching my goals. And so I want to change, but I just don't know any other way to exist. Next part, pre-chorus, is I'm motivated by self-hatred, kind of like I said. I do what it takes, but I still can't escape it. This is a really important line. So I'm doing the hard work to reach my goals. I'm, delaying gratification, as they all say. I'm having all these negative emotions and using them in a positive way to fuel me. No matter what I achieve, even the little successes along the way don't give me any satisfaction because my brain is wired in such a negative way. So an external factor isn't going to change a really powerful, long-standing pattern. If you have body dysmorphia and someone comes up and says, you look good, you're not going to believe them. Same kind of thing. If someone says you're doing really well in life or you've really improved, it's just, I don't feel it, so I can't believe it. Next part, I'm agitated, but I can't change it. So I'm stuck in this heightened nervous system response, and I keep thinking that once I get to this goal, I'll feel more relaxed. But as soon as I do, take the steps towards those goals, I actually just move on to the next and don't feel any more relaxed. I'm stuck in this living hell I have created. I have created a dysregulated nervous system for myself where my primary motivation to do anything is guilt, shame, and fear. And I've got to a point where those are now the primary emotions I experience throughout most of my day. And I feel like I can't get out. And I am getting out slowly, I'm making steps. But because I have trouble enjoying those steps and those successes, most of the time I'm like, I've never done anything worth doing. I haven't made any progress. I'm just worthless. I'm just stuck in this suffering forever. When I have made progress, it's hard for me to feel it. If you want to leave hell, stop following its rules. So think of hell. Hell is a place that people go to be punished. It's a place of guilt and fear and shame. That is how the realm of hell or the concept of hell is maintained. So if you want to leave it, don't follow the rules of the realm of hell, which is living in these horrible states. Create different rules for yourself and your reality, and you won't create a hell anymore. You don't get to heaven by destroying you. You don't get to this positive, loving, peaceful place by destroying yourself with self-hate, guilt, shame, and self-criticism. You don't get out of hell by shaming yourself. Okay, I realized my explanation was completely irrelevant to this line. So what I mean by this is, because shame is an emotion of I'm bad and guilt is an emotion of I've done something bad, shame is just not a productive emotion. So you won't get out of that cycle and hell by feeling this shame. While keeping in mind you do have to feel and process and understand your emotions to recover. You don't earn value, you're already you. And just being you is enough to deserve love and respect and have your needs met and values matter. You don't have to prove it through some sort of test. You can live a life based on love. What you give, you receive when you feel you're enough. This is about the idea of service to others. Now, service to others and compassion is a great thing, but you have to fill your cup first. And if you don't, and you exclusively go to serving others without your own needs met, it'll really drain you. And so what you want to do is have your own needs met, and then from a state of strength, use the love and compassion to then help others, not because you're trying to relieve a negative feeling, but because when you connect with someone and they're hurting and then you connect with them and they feel better, having them feel better makes you feel better. It should be a win-win situation. If you're trying to do service to others from a place of depletion, this what you give, you receive thing won't work, because you'll give everything and get nothing. Especially if you're giving it to the wrong people. That's a big part of it too. Next part is, you can live a life in your truth. Status doesn't make people, but what they value. So, you can live a life in your truth. Who you are, authenticity, because why not? Even if I have a mask that I think people will like, some people will still not even like that mask. So why not just be myself? Who cares? I care, actually. I mean, come on. You teach your greatest wounding. And then, status doesn't make people, but what they value. Our whole world is so much based on like status and power. It's something I've never really understood. I think it's a lot better to define someone by what they value. Not what they do, not what they achieve, not how much power they have, because that can go and be taken away. So defining yourself like that creates a really unstable self-image. And it makes people do horrible things because their whole self-worth is on this idea of power. And if they lose it, they're nothing. So then they exploit people to keep it. I also think values are better because they're not a results-oriented process. You know, like I can value having a clean home, an organized home, all that stuff. But there might be some days where I get a little behind. But I remember the value and make some progress towards it. And I can still have that value and work towards it even if there's something on the floor. You might have anger issues or whatever, and your value is to not snap, but you might snap. And so it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to keep moving slowly towards that value. And that's satisfying in itself because you'll never reach a point of perfection anyways. All right, then it's the chorus again. And now the last part, it's a bridge, but it's at the end. So it's a bridge to the end. All right, let's power through these. 1, you have what you need. It's the idea of happiness starts from the inside, not the outside. Yes, I know, a total cliche. But I think that if you know on the inside what you want, you can then shape your physical world around that, rather than not knowing what you want and then stumbling around the physical world with no direction. And then you are who you are. So just be honest with yourself about who you are and give yourself permission to be that person. Because not being that person is just going to cause a lot of extra pain, stress, and suffering and misery. And you're here for a reason, to be the person you are. The world needs you, so I don't know. Do I like the world needs you? I'm like, look, who cares what the world needs? If you're just happy in yourself and find win-win situations where you can help yourself and help others, that's the icing on the cake. That's what you want. Self-service should not be this thing where you're doing it out of guilt and fear and have nothing left. And then you don't need to achieve to value somebody. Especially sports like ice skating, gymnastics, like I think Olympics. But there are a lot of people who do these sports who just do it for other reasons. And I want to know more of that because I want to spend more time with people who aren't necessarily trying to make money with it and just go. And find the motivation for why they go, even if they're not the best. That's always been my main motivation. Like, I have to be the best or I'm nothing. And maybe it doesn't have to be like that. Maybe I can keep some of the drive while also not panicking during some kind of performance. Because if I make a mistake, I'm nothing. Which is wrong. I'm not promoting that. All right. Unconditional peace. Basically, being at peace with yourself and who you are now. Yes, strive to be better, but like, love yourself as you are today and love yourself even when you're not 100% at your goals. Just enjoy the process of reaching them. You don't need anything. You don't need anything in terms of like, I have to get this promotion or I'm nothing. I have to be skinny or I'm nothing. I have to be the best or I'm nothing. You don't need that to feel good about yourself. What you have to do is rewire your brain and your thought patterns. I feel like a lot of people have this illusion that once they reach this goal, like all their mental problems will be solved, and then they reach it and they're not. And then they're like, oh my gosh, what now? And it says, you already have value, live now in peace. So whatever your life looks like, whatever messes you're in, it doesn't affect your value. It's just where you are right now. You don't go through life to become more valuable and earn more value. You go through life to be who you are in each moment and for the experience of it. I dealt with pain and misery by imagining this idealistic future if I just endured the pain a little longer. I think I missed a lot of my life. And now I've like have a lot of dissociation and like dislodged with my body. It's hard to describe, and it's very hard to come back from that. And then live now in peace. You don't have to wait until everything's perfect to be at peace. Because things will never be perfect. There's always going to be something wrong. And I'm betting that if you work towards your goals because you enjoyed the process and felt good along the way, that's actually going to make it much easier to reach your goals because the motivation continues. That's it for this song. Live now in peace. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.
You don't get to heaven by destroying you.